Yeah, so. Hi there, Adam here, back out in the shop with a, not the video that this was supposed to be. So, yeah, so for some odd reason, whatever mystical, magical, fairy, dust, pixies, something went wrong with one of my SD cards and just ate like 10 hours of footage. 8 hours of footage. There's about 8 hours lost of just like, and it isn't even like a block of video. It was just like random. It would be like I'd have like three in a row, and then there was one that was just missing, and there'd be two in a row, and then one that's missing the audio, and it is extremely frustrating to do all of this filming of all of this work and then go to the computer and it's not there, and you're just like, you want to just yeah. So I'm going to piece together what I have left and try and turn it into a coherent video, because yeah, I got quite a bit done. And so here, I will show you where I am at, and then I will piece together what I can of how I got there. So here is where the transmission sits now. If you'll notice, it is in the right side of the case. Usually, the differential and everything is in the left side of the case. When you take these transmissions apart, you take them apart on the left side. One, because that's where all the shift forks and shift linkage and everything is. And two, that's where the differential sits. So you have the heaviest side, or, you know, the ring gear of the differential. So you have the heavier side down when you take it apart. But now, anyone that knows Subaru transmissions, you know, this will look quite odd to them because, well, it's reversed. So now when we spin our input, you know, in the clockwise direction, the direction that the engine is spinning, you can see the output is spinning this way, which, if this was installed in a Subaru, that would be spinning backwards. You would move that direction. However, since this is going into a Volkswagen, where the engine is in the back, this is now the front of the transmission. So, by spinning in the engine direction, the output now spins forward for the car. So that is where we are at. I got the new bearings installed. So there's the new rear main shaft bearing, the new front main shaft bearing, and the new seal. You know, some of the old ones are laying around here. I've still got to set up the front end here. So we've still got to do all of that, which involves shimming. So we've got these shims here that go into this flange here, and then you've got these. Well, here, I'll show you them. You've got, so the bearing races have these retainers, and you can see they're threaded, and they screw into the case. And by moving these in and out, that changes where the differential sits inside the case, and it moves it away or towards the pinion. And that is how you get your gears to mesh properly. I haven't done that yet. I still need to finish cleaning up all the mating surfaces, and then I put the two halves together. I gotta put the marking compound on there, get all the teeth marked, and then see where it sits. Okay, so this is what it looked like when I tore it apart. The whole inside is just covered in carbon and bearing material, and it's pretty thick, pretty nasty. So after most of a day in the parts washer over here, it finally looks like that. That's what it's supposed to look like. So yeah, that is much better. Now I gotta wait for my end mill so I can actually cut all this inner webbing and stuff down to fit the ring, the front differential. Oh, don't lose that. So yeah, so you've got the bolts that hold the ring gear onto the differential. If you see this side, it's actually got the clearance down there for those bolts. So if you try and just flip that over to this side, it's not going to work. It's going to hit all this stuff. In order to repair the damaged bearing, I had to remove the lock nut on the end of the main shaft. And rather than holding the gears with my bare hands, I had to wrap it with a towel, take it off the impact. While I was at it, I also removed the lock nut from the end of the pinion shaft because we'll need to take that out and swap it later. This is the only usable footage that I have of removing the main shaft components. So we've got the new bearing. That guy goes right there. Okay, there we go. So we have the bearing, we have piece that goes there, the piece that goes there. So the inner bearing that I'm using, the old inner bearing, I put it on the lathe and I took a couple thou out of it, so it's no longer a press fit on the shaft. So and there we are. Now I've got these two guys. This is the thrust washer for fifth gear. goes there, and then this guy goes on there, that, and then that, and then I've got a new lock nut. Alright, here we go. Brand new lock nut. This guy will go right there, like that. And then I gotta mount this guy in a vise and torque that to, I think it's 85 foot-pounds, 100 and something newton meters. Alright, so that was really all there was as far as repairing the transmission, was putting that new bearing in. So from here, we are going to be doing the reversal upgrade. So we'll set the counter shaft down there for now, because we got this case half to do first. So all this webbing here will get in the way, as I will show you here in a second. So this is the bearing retainer. This is what sets your gear lash. Screwing these guys in and out. Okay, so what I'm doing is marking out this side of the case. So yeah, this is, it went in like this from the factory. So yeah, it looks like we do gotta take a little bit off of this edge right here. Yeah, you can see on this side it actually like curves up a little more at the top up here instead of this bump. So we have to take some of that bump out. And then the other side doesn't have these ribs coming all the way up. So those pretty much have to come out. I wonder if this might be easier to do on the rotary table. That is something to think about, I think. So because of how my setup is with the long stick out on the end mill and just the 3 jaws holding the transmission case to the rotary table, I had to take very light passes. And this is what most of my days milling this case were like just move it over a millimeter and then take off material, move it over a millimeter, take off material. I couldn't go with a lot of, very much depth. Didn't take off a lot of material because I didn't want to risk upsetting, it wasn't the most stable setup, that's for sure. So we got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 bolts to remove here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This one is actually quite nice. I've had many a ring gear that you practically had to beat the thing off. Oh man, if y'all could smell the smell, there's this certain smell that comes from removing old bolts, like main caps inside an engine, the ring gear, it's like, it's hard to explain it. It is a very pungent smell though. And once you smell it, you'll always remember it. It's like a core memory, just about. And it is definitely got it. All right, there we go. All right, here we go. Drop that guy in, and perfect. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so now we got this guy. We have loosened up this, which is our nut. We got a washer, and then, and then this guy, another washer, a thrust bearing, a bearing seat, and then okay, so here's our front pinion removed. So we've got our inner bearing, another thrust bearing. Okay, so this little collar right here needs to pop off. It looks like we can just do like this. There we go. And then that should just like that. There we go. And then we no longer need that right there. So that'll go into our little scrap pile. Got a nice, drops in like that. And then we've got this little bushing here that goes in right here. And this little guy locks the two together like that. And then we take the two washers from earlier. Those go right there. And then we put our new nut on top of that. So we got the new nut right here. And this guy goes right, ta-da. All right, now we just gotta torque that bad boy down. So this one is supposed to be 118 Newton meters, or 86.8 foot-pound, plus or minus 5.8, so 87. Looks like 87. 87. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to get you to stand out of the way here. This is gonna be not easy. Oreos. Easier than it looked. Alright, now it is all locked together as one solid piece. It is no longer all-wheel driven. Okay, so still got a ways to go here. But as you can see, our backlash is excessive amount of backlash. Well, we're on the downhill slide now. We gotta set the differential. So we gotta go through and make all those adjustments to our gear lash. Set our pinion depth. Figure out what our pinion depth is supposed to be. I mean, we've got our shims that were originally on there, but we'll have to measure everything because it's all changed now. Gotta take all my tape off of everything. There we go. So the engine spins clockwise, and now the differential is spinning what is forward in Volkswagen. That is working precisely as designed. Okay, so let's put it in first gear here. Oh yeah, there we go. That's first. Second. Third. Fourth. And fifth. So yeah, thanks for hanging out until the end, and I have learned a lesson from this one. What I usually do is I just continually record until the SD card is full, and then I'll go empty it out. So I think now what I'm going to do is, at least after each filming day, because I only work in the shop for 4 hours a day usually. That's my working time. And so I work 4 hours, 5 days a week on average, and so I usually do the full 4 hours, and then I'm done. I put the camera to charge, all the equipment to charge. But I think I need to make it so that at the end of each day, I offload all my video. I think that's my new procedure, so that we don't run into this again. I did also go get a new SD card, because it might just be an age thing. It is like a year old, and if I'm, you know, constantly moving 128 gig on and off of it, it's yeah. So maybe a year is all they last. I don't know. I'm not. Yeah, either way. So thanks for hanging out with me, and stay tuned for the next video where we set up this front differential and get it all running properly, and then button up the transmission, and then call this one good. So until next time, stay safe, have fun, peace.